All right, Niv Mizzet Guild Pact. Wooburg, another Nivy boy. Got hexproof and multicolored as usual. It's got flying. I did like it a lot whenever it deals combat damage to a player. It deals X damage to any target on top of that. So if you don't have any flyers, my green players out there, I know that you don't have flyers for the most part. I'm going to be dealing 6 damage each time. And that's just from him alone. And then I get to deal 6 damage to any target on top of it. So I could be dealing 12 damage. And then target player draws X cards. I could be drawing 6 cards and then gaining 6 life. Right? X is the number of different color pairs. So actually it would be 4. Right? 4 or 5.
I think 5 mana. You're coloring pairs. It's all those pair pips, right? Golgari, Azorius. You got Gruul. You have all the best pips that you're going to put in there that are pairs. Throw in all the best mana ramp, Golgari, Destroy Creature ramp, right? Binding of the Old Gods. Throw in another pair that could just be counter cards, like the one that we just saw, No More Lies. There's so many different cards that are colored paired pips together. And then with that, this is just like the other Niv Mizzet card. Not the one that's Izzet, but the one that's also Wooburg, where you're looking, where it enters the battlefield, look at the top 10 cards, and then any one of those that are pips or colored paired pips, you're going to be bringing those right into your hand.
Yeah.
So I think this is even better than that just because of the fact that, one, you have hexproof from multicolored. Don't get me wrong, it's not full hexproof, but at least it's hexproof from multicolored. And that way, have Swiftfoot Boots or Lightning Greaves with this thing, swing it in right away, bang.
Yep. I'm going to go Slay.
It's a Slay.
Slay. All right. Tom.
Next up, we have Crime Novelist. Coming in as an uncommon. 3 mana. I love what they did with this card. I'm actually surprised we didn't throw this in the fire faves because this is just a fave already for me. I mean, we're looking at sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 on Crime Novelist, and then you add an additional red mana. Put this in your treasure tokens. What? Sacrifice a treasure, make a mana, make an extra red mana. +1/+1 on Crime Novelist.
It's going in my Zeatora deck, that's for damn sure.
It's just easy, man. It's just that easy.
Jury, Ragavon, Corvold, all other great commanders to put this in.
New Kingpin Street Franco. I forget how you say it. Franco Tin Street Baron?
Baron of Tin Street.
There we go.
Or Tin Street Kingpin. There's 2 of them.
Son of a batch. Either way, you know which one I'm talking about. It's the new one that just came out where you tap it, sacrifice an artifact.
Yep.
So it's a perfect synergy with that. This card is a banger.
You picked this one specifically, so this one's you.
You sound like you want to talk about it.
I do not, because it's sideways on my screen and I don't want to have to do it.
Anyways, it's Flotsam and Jetsam. This is a uncommon also. Surprise this hasn't really been talked about, to be honest. Granted, the first effect, or the lesser mana effect, it's a one generic Simic between the two. And then with that, what we're seeing here is that you're just going to mill 3 cards, investigate. That's okay if you're running that type of Soul Tide mill, putting things in the graveyard. That's awesome. Now, throw in Jetsam, the other side. Each opponent mills 3 cards. Then you may cast a spell from each opponent's graveyard without paying its mana cost. If a spell would be cast this way, put it into the graveyard, exile it instead. This is a Breach in the Multiverse for 6 mana. Granted, you're not milling 10 cards. You're only milling 3. But this card can be really good regardless. And it's an uncommon. It's probably cheap. If I knew any better, it's probably like $3 or less. And so, with that, to me, this is a Slay. What are your thoughts, Kyle?
I like it. I would put this in my Muldrotha deck that I want to make because it's following the colors of that. And then it's going to be useful for it because you get to play a land and cast a permanent spell from each permanent type from your graveyard. So I'm going to be milling cards out of my deck, and then I'm going to be able to play it with Jetsam.
6 mana in Soul Tie, I think it works perfect in this, especially if you can run some wheels in it as well with the blue colors.
What do we got up next?
Lazav, Wearer of Faces. Basically, with this, you're going to be attacking. It's 2 mana, so that's Absolutely cool. And then when it attacks, you're going to exile a target card from a graveyard. When you sacrifice a clue, Lazav can actually be a copy of a creature until end of turn. So, I mean, a couple things about this, right? One issue that we do have with this card is that it doesn't really have any type of evasion to like swing in that damage. So you might want to have something that can help you do that. Whether it's target creature can't be blocked type card like security bypass or island walk as well. Those are a couple ways that we can kind of get back or past that, or just being able to give it flying as well.
Well, you wouldn't want to make this an investigate deck?
Well, it can be an investigate deck, but one of the challenges that this card sees as a commander is just the fact that it needs to be swinging and dealing damage. And you want to be evading that creatures because you don't want it to get blocked. It's only a 2/3, so it can easily get blocked. That's my big thing, right? Because you want to swing in that damage, so that way you can exile that target card without having any consequences for swinging.
Got you. See, I would be using it with like Fleeting Memories, Erdwall Illuminator. So Fleeting Memories is whenever you sacrifice a clue,
Yeah,
target player puts the top 3 cards. You can sacrifice 3
there's
clues.
room in the 99 for that too, brother.
Absolutely.
I think that's a great card to go with it.
Mhm.
Having all those artifact token.
You got the Doctor Who
Clue.
card, Martha Jones.
Ooh,
Throw that
true.
in there too. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, Martha Jones it up to one other target creature can't be blocked this turn. Yeah, if you can either have creatures that whenever you deal damage mill cards just to make it faster, make it a mill clue deck, or you can choose one or the other. I think it'd be a great one, but
Mind Leech Mass on there.
ooh, nice.
Well, I was gonna say if you have Mind Leech Mass and it's exiled somehow, whenever it's going to deal that combat damage, you're going to be able to cast a spell from among those cards that are in that player's hand that you attacked for free. So you could be stealing some decent cards out of that. A lot of cool things that you can do with this.
I say slay. I wouldn't make a deck around it, but it is a great concept. But I say slay for the abilities that it has. If you're going to run with clue or meal.
Yeah.
No.
Not only that, but it's in Demir. Definitely one, to me, one of the best color schemes.
Yeah. All right, we got demand answers. I like it a lot more because of the fact all you have to do is an additional cost to cast this spell, and it's 1 generic, 1 red. You sacrifice an artifact or discard a card, or you get to draw 2 cards. Automatically putting this in any treasure deck because, Cathartic Pyre, you could take that out now and put this in instead because you're going to be having treasures in a treasure deck, and you no longer have to discard a card. You can just sacrifice an artifact in order to do it. So now you're not having to pay that same tax like you normally would with a Cathartic Pyre, Thrill of Possibility.
Losing a card's pretty big, but an artifact token, just getting rid of that is definitely worth the 2 mana for sure.
That's why it's an absolute slay in my mind, because you're putting this in the 99 10 out of 10 times if you're doing treasures or anything that's red too. If it's got treasures, it's 100% going. If you have Academy Manufacturer, you can put this in any red deck, even if you want to make a food or a clue deck out of it too, because you have that on the field. You're making all 3.
Yeah. No, I like it. Now, is it a game changer? I wouldn't say so, but the thing is the fact that you can just sacrifice an artifact and draw into whatever game changer card you can have. Drawing cards is a slay to me.
Yeah, because it's an artifact. You can put this in your red artifact deck if you have anything that's red color. Red is it? Becky is the first thing that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. Anything that has to do with artifacts.
Shoot, throw this in a Judith. Right?
Yeah, the connoisseur one, the new one too.
Yep, because if you can at least sacrifice some type of artifact, don't get me wrong, Judith is also going to have artifacts in there as well.
And then you get to it's a sorcery as well. So, it's an instant. It's an instant.
It's an instant. So guess what? With this Stormkill Artist, Judith as well, draw 2 cards, get to create a 2/2 creature, also make a treasure token on top of it, so it's like you never lost that artifact.
What cards can you have on the field that allow you to play instants and sorceries from your graveyard?
Lear.
Yeah.
All those ones.
There you go.
It's instants, sorceries, graveyard. It's always.
And there's got to be a way that you can create an infinite draw out of that too. There's got to be a way.
No, there isn't, but you get to do a lot of cool combos. It's not going to be infinite, but you get to draw a lot of cards. There's no doubt about it.
So slay. It doesn't have to be that much of a heavy hitter, but because of the fact that it now gives you an easier way to cheat out draw effects, that's huge, especially for red.
Is it Rakdos, artifacts? It fits in it. I like it. 2 mana, draw 2,
Exactly.
sacrifice an artifact. Or if you're running Izzet, you're going to be throwing instants of sorceries in your graveyard. Slay. I give it a slay.
And then our last card on the list, it is actually a card from the pre-con. So it is called Trouble in Pairs. It is 4 mana in total. I love it. It is a great stacks card. I want to put this in my Loro deck because its first ability is pretty cool for anybody that is playing a blue deck. It says you're not taking extra turns anymore because it would skip that turn instead. So when somebody feels like they're going infinite turn mode, no thank you. No
Why do
thank
you like this card so much?
And then
I don't like it.
And then whenever an opponent
I hate
attacks
this.
you, yeah, because a lot of my decks have some form of white in it. And then whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell each turn, I get to draw a card. So I get to draw up to 3 cards if somebody does all 3 of those things every turn.
That second ability is pretty crazy.
And that's why it is already worth almost $30. And the blame game, the entire precon is going for like $31.
Yeah, I'm
Just
not playing
one.
my Borborygamos deck against that. I'm playing my Yawgmoth. I'm playing my Emery deck against this.
Yeah,
but they don't use extra turns. Borborygamos uses extra turns.
Yeah, but you're drawing.
It completely shuts down my game, my win con.
Yeah, and on top of that, though, the second ability helps me out because you're going to be casting more than 1 spell each turn. Because it says cast, not, and casting can be from the graveyard.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
So I love it. Absolute slay. Bought the whole pre. I bought the pre-con. It's a slay. And that is going to be the end of our Slayer Nay. Let us know in the comments what cards we should have added in, what cards we should have taken out. Let us know that we're stupid because, what else is new?